Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And it's Shrek-tember.
It's Shrek-tember!
Woo! So, of course, we are kicking off Shrek-tember with Shrek, of course.
Shrek 1. Shrek the original. The
OG Shrek.
No,
no, it's not OG Shrek, because that shit's horrific. First DreamWorks. DreamWorks 1.
DreamWorks first Shrek. The side project to the Prince of Egypt.
The side project to many things. The ultimate side project, Shrek.
So I have a fun story to start with.
Shoot. It's Shrek. Shrek is surrounded by fun stories.
Oh, of course. It's got nothing to do with the making of Shrek, though.
Great. Perfect.
It's a strong start.
Yeah, so my TV's been going a bit shit recently.
You can't... 1 second, Dad. You can't say anything about immediately taking people off track.
Yeah, okay.
You make no comment about that.
Yeah, the Tarzan episode, I do admit, did start off in a bit of a weird tangent.
Yeah. My TV's been going a bit shit, and I went out on Sunday, and I bought myself a new TV.
Nice.
So I now have a nice fat, instead of this old piece of shit from like 2010
TVs.
that's like basic HD, I have a lovely 50-inch 4K TV, and I was thinking, what movie am I going to christen it with? And then I remembered we had to record this fucking podcast, so the first movie on the new TV was Shrek.
Shrek. Great, perfect.
It was worth it. It was fine. It was good.
100%. Shrek's a great movie.
It's a great movie, but I would not say it's not high def.
No, it's not designed to be, but...
So, I guess what's everyone's history with Shrek?
Fucking love Shrek. Shrek is one of those movies. Not the best. Right, Shrek is a great movie. Not the best movie. Not the best Shrek.
Yeah.
But we can talk about the best Shrek next week.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying this when it came out. I don't know if I saw it in the cinema. Like, it's one of those things, like, it's just been like a staple of my life. Shrek, I sort of vaguely remember the first film coming out, but we were quite young. I think every school, I think I watched it at least once a year or once every other year at school, because it was sort of it was one of the DVDs and I think even one of the videos one of my schools had. Yeah,
so you'd get to watch the first, like, maybe hour or so.
The first hour Shrek. I've seen quite a lot.
Mine for school is that and the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
See, my school was clever, where if we'd watch half a film in one class, and then the teacher would be like, "Where are you going?" When in certain schools you'd stay in the same class and just go to different rooms.
Yeah.
The teacher would be like, "Where are you going?" If it was just one of those days where, like, at the end of the year, where teachers cannot be fucked to teach anymore.
Yeah, like December 18th.
Yeah, they were just like, "Where are you going next?" Okay, take the DVD with you and finish the film.
Oh, that's smart. I think that there was so much distrust amongst the different faculty at my school that they'd be like, "No, those bitches in English will steal my DVD. I'll never see it again." It
was fully why they asked, "Where are you going?" Because they knew.
We had Shrek and Madagascar, and one of my teachers was like really enjoyed Madagascar.
No, I'm getting school memories of watching Madagascar at school, and I think Over the Hedge.
Oh shit! Is it raining? Oh fuck. BRB. I've got laundry outside.
Okay.
What were your school videos, Dan?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not stopping recording for Helena's laundry.
No, laundry.
Yeah,
it'd be a while though.
So
we've all got to vamp and not talk about Shrek.
Yeah, the main ones I remember were Shrek and Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think I've talked about the one time the geography teacher put on Blood Diamond.
Yes, you did.
And I think the RE teacher at one point put on Hotel Rwanda.
Sorry,
No,
I'm back.
My RE.
That's okay. We're talking
teacher...
about Hotel Rwanda. You've been gone for maybe 30 seconds.
My RE teacher put on Signs.
Ooh, yeah.
Which was a hell of a film to watch in, like,
Signs? What's that?
I mean, Signs is weird because it's like an alien movie, and at the end it's like, no, Mel Gibson is actually talking to God. God will help.
Yeah, it signs the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, right.
The horror movie that turns into a weirdly Christian.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. I don't know why he made us watch Signs.
Maybe he just
Especially
liked
considering
it.
you wouldn't get to the end.
Yeah. It
You
scared
kind of
the
missed
shit
the
out of,
message.
so many people in the class.
Yeah, I
It was
think in
great.
English class we watched a bit of The Sixth Sense once, but this is when I was scared and I thought it was a horror movie and I didn't want to watch it. Oh, I think, hang on. I might be remembering wrong. This was either played in English class or I stayed up late to watch it. But you know the beginning of Ghost Ship where that wire goes and slices a bunch of people in half?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Titanic.
Yeah,
The opening scene to Titanic.
yeah. Yeah, I watched that maybe in school.
That's
It
a
might
pretty
not-
brutal start to a film.
Yeah, it might not have been.
I remember the trailer for that film, but I never saw it.
What,
Yeah.
Titanic?
Yeah.
Good.
The bit where Leonardo DiCaprio gets sliced in half.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Sorry.
Decapitated.
Decapitated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I also with Shrek, like I remember I either had it on VHS or DVD, or it was either a legitimate DVD or it was one of those
A copy.
DVDs in the folder of illegitimate DVDs.
Yeah,
But I feel
or you get the
yeah.
plastic case, but it's like clearly just printed A4.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, I think I had this on video, or
I
a
may
close
have
friend did, because I vividly remember that it had a bright Shrek green plastic case.
Oh, of course.
I remember it. I think I had it on video, but I can't remember if it was on video or taped from the TV.
You had it on tape in some form.
Yeah, but I definitely had a copy of it. But
Yeah.
this film does have watched it in school energy.
Oh, definitely, because it's that right level of like Shrek is funny at any age.
Yeah.
Like, right?
It's tolerable, like that. Like for adults, it's fine.
A teacher doesn't want to kill themselves whilst watching it.
Yeah,
No.
and it's rated U.
So you
And
can
all
like
it
put it
does
on
is
for
lead
any.
to, the teacher being annoyed at everyone doing their awful Shrek impressions.
Donkey.
Yeah, but luckily the teacher doesn't have to deal with that. The next teacher does.
Yeah.
So top tier move there. So this film is wild. This is a good film. We can all agree this is a good film. Get it over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fun.
I yeah, it wasn't the story that didn't hold up for me or the acting. Yeah, it's fun. It's there's bits of it that I'd totally forgotten as well. So I realized, like, whilst I think about Shrek, and obviously Shrek's such a fucking meme that it does feel like, oh, of course I remember everything about Shrek, but actually I've not watched the film in ages. Like, definitely, like, I'm guessing over
Not-
10 years.
Yeah,
Not
it's been a
Shrek
long
1.
time since I've watched Shrek. Yeah, Shrek
Like-
1 isn't...
It's
Like-
not my first choice of Shreks.
Yeah,
No,
and if
honest.
there's a
Shrek-
Shrek on TV, it's rarely Shrek 1.
Yeah,
It's
I
also,
noticed
like-
that.
Assumed that everyone has seen and remembers Shrek 1 and will be perfectly fine just jumping straight to Shrek 2. You kind of just go, everyone knows and remembers, we do not need to, like... No one ever needs to rewatch Shrek 1. You can just go straight into Shrek 2. Because Shrek 2 is the superior film. But-
Yeah, but
So
yeah.
rewatching actual Shrek 1, it's weird.
Yeah. Like the
It's weird,
introduction
but
of
yeah.
loads of characters and bits that you're like, is this a character in a later one that's just using in a bit part now, like Robin Hood? Or
Did they just vanish? But it feels like Shrek, the first Shrek, was kind of like out of the box and like crazy for when it was made. Like, it was really the style of comedy and the style of like pop culture references wasn't really used that much in animation like it was like this. Watching it after you've seen like Shrek 2, this is fine.
yeah, like, and also just I remember finding the story just really appealing as a kid as well. Of just like,
It's a
what if
lovely
all the
story.
fairy tale creatures were just dumped in one place?
It's a lovely linear story.
yeah,
And it goes
Incredibly
by so
linear.
fast. Like, in my head, it was way more padded out, but no, it's like, get out of my swamp. Donkey. you have to take like you have to take me to see Lord Farquaad. Oh, we've got to go. And it's like bish bash bosh. Shit, they're already there.
Yeah, like them leaving Farquaad's castle and getting to the volcano is just basically one scene.
It's a montage.
Yeah, I thought it was way longer as well. But then I realised actually this film is actually just like an animated soundtrack.
90-minute long.
No, yeah.
It feels like it should be. Memory serves it being 2 hours long.
That's probably because you watched it over 2 hours, 2 separate classes. So you had
That's true.
15-minute walking break in the middle, and like 15 minutes of settle down.
You also
it's not the holidays yet, Mikey.
But the thing is, back then that gave me flashbacks. Back then as well, when you watched a film in class, that was all you did, because the most like advanced phone that you had could send text. Like you had a BBM and maybe Facebook if you were lucky.
Yeah, I just had like a basic sort of Nokia thing. That was it.
Gosh, I had because my parents had company phones. They got a new phone every year, so me and my brother would get so our phones were always sort of pretty up to date, but like always just 1 year behind.
Yeah.
Which didn't matter for like after the whole iPhone thing, but before then it was like, ooh, this one can store songs. Ooh, this one's got more buttons.
I remember having one where you could flip the keyboard so that the screen was then in the middle, and you had like a full-on keyboard like either side of it.
That sounded really cool back then. That sounds awful now.
It does sound awful now, like flip phones. Why are they bringing back flip phones? I don't know. I sound like an old man.
Flip phones are really big in like Korea.
Yeah.
Like they never stopped making flip phones just because their like alphabet and how they type doesn't work on a touchscreen.
No, that makes sense. Flip phones are also really big in drama movies, because you need to dramatically be able to slam the phone.
Yeah, you need.
They're also like cheaper and easier to break, so it's very good if you're angry.
Yeah.
Touchscreen screens. Hanging up a touchscreen screen is nowhere near as fun.
No, you can't fold it in half. Well, you can fold some in half. They're not supposed to.
You can fold them all.
You can fold it in half once.
Yeah. So I feel like Shrek, we don't really have to go through. Everyone knows the plot of Shrek. So one thing I want to know is, what is your like favorite Shrek moments? I guess.
Favorite moment. First of all, can we talk about the production of this movie? Because there's some things that like I feel like everyone should know, and I feel like everyone does know. I just want to talk about it because it's funny.
Sure.
So we have the famous story, the reality that and we talked about it in the Prince of Egypt. Whilst they were making these big films like Prince of Egypt, the animators, if they fucked up, they got moved to Shrek.
Yeah, they got punished with Shrek, which seems like the time gap between Prince of Egypt and Shrek seems quite a lot, and it's like, oh, how come it took that long? But also, most of Shrek was also recorded with another actor, and then he died.
Foley?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. But yeah, the animators used to call it getting Shreked.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, it was originally recorded with Foley. We passed away.
Chris Farley, yeah.
Chris Farley. He passed away. They re-recorded all of it with Mike Myers. Correct decision.
And then, they recorded some of it with Mike Myers, and then Mike Myers went, hang on, I want to do this Scottish instead.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it with basic Mike Myers voice.
I can't imagine Shrek with like an American accent.
Just like Wayne's World kind of voice.
I don't think I've ever seen Mike Myers do the Shrek voice in like not animated.
Fat Bastard in Austin Powers. It's the same voice.
That's not the Shrek voice.
Oh, it's pretty similar.
It's a Scottish accent, but it's not the Shrek voice.
Yeah.
And in my head, I cannot. Normally, you can like associate voice actor voice with actor's face.
Yeah, like Eddie Murphy in this is very much donkey.
It's just Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Being doing Eddie Murphy style comedy.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine, and I never want to see it. I never want to see Mike Myers do the Shrek voice. It'd ruin it for me.
Yeah. I get what you mean though. Like you don't watch Shrek and think I can tell the voice actor for this.
That's Mike Myers. You don't do that.
Well,
But also,
I mean, that's my embarrassing reveal. I
You
had
didn't know.
no idea the first, I think, few times I watched Austin Powers that he was
It was
playing
Mike
like
Myers.
all the other characters.
Oh no, I had no idea. I had no for like the longest time. I didn't realize that Doctor Evil was also Mike Myers.
And I had
Right?
no idea that Fiona was Cameron Diaz, that I'd also seen, I guess, in other films as I grew up. But
Right.
I never noticed for like for the longest time. And then I was like, what?
Yeah,
Doesn't sound anything like her. And then listening back to it, watching the film, I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, the
She's
one I
not
didn't
putting on a
realise
voice;
was,
it's just her voice.
Yeah, I didn't realise, because, like I say, it's been... Normally you end up watching the second one or the third one. I completely forgot that it was John Lithgow, who is Farquaad.
So, did you read that Nick Cage was originally offered the role
I really wished that it would have been Nick
Oh,
Cage.
of
Of
what,
Shrek?
Or...
Of Shrek.
Yeah,
He was
Really?
sorry, not
originally Shrek.
not a Farquaad. Yeah, of
Fiona.
Shrek. Turned it down because he didn't want to look like an ogre.
Yeah. He
I
was-
mean, yeah, to be fair, I can imagine Nick Cage getting full into costume just to do voice acting.
his reasoning wasn't just I don't want to be an ogre. It was kids are gonna remember me for the voice character that I did. I don't want the kids to treat me like an ogre.
Oh, him doing his, like, crazy Nick Cage voice and
Incredible.
it coming out of Shrek, though, would be so fucking good.
And really, really aggressive towards Donkey.
Just goes from, like, Con Air to Shrek.
Incredible. Yeah, Nick Cage Shrek is what I want to see. The alternate universe I want to live in is Nick Cage's Shrek.
I don't know. It's such a state, like Shrek's voice though, and like all his quotes. I feel like Shrek was like the first accent we ever kind of tried to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When we were
ruined the
quoting,
Scottish
it wouldn't just
accent.
like obviously we quote lines from the film all the time when we were kids.
Yeah, and I imagine if we lived in the Nick Cage Shrek timeline, then that would just be Shrek and we wouldn't think it was special.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if the guy that played Austin Powers was Shrek. How
Mhm.
good.
Could you imagine it with like a British accent?
Or Nick Cage trying to do Scottish.
Oh,
Well, that's all. That would also be terrible. But I don't.
Loved
Yeah,
it.
that wasn't ever like that was Mike Myers' like idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
just like, yep, let's go for Scottish.
I think it.
Yeah.
I think it works. It's. I don't know. Just because it's what we've been given.
It's so much
Yeah.
better. I think because it separates the Shrek as a character from everyone else in the film. Because everyone else is just American.
Yeah,
Fiona's
helps Shrek
like
kinda-
very generic. Like Cameron Diaz's accent is a very like generic, safe.
It's just Cameron Diaz talking.
Yeah, it's very Cameron Diaz.
But then John Lithgow's voice is. It's kind of but it's British accent, but yeah,
It's not a real.
it's like it's posh
hammed
British.
up.
How British people don't actually sound.
Yeah, it's hammed up British
Hammy.
accent.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, obviously it's a hammy. I never knew until I was an adult that he's called Lord Farquaad because it's fuckwad.
Yeah.
Lord
That and the
Farquaad's-
boner scene, you know.
Yeah.
Oh
Lord Farquaad
shit!
is an
Yeah.
incredible character.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that, like, so one thing that I'd completely forgotten as well is that Prince Charming isn't in this
No,
one
no,
from
yeah,
the second
yeah.
one.
Prince Charming is
It's
an
like, no,
entirely
it's just Farquaad.
Shrek 2 character.
Yeah.
I knew that he wasn't in. I remembered enough about. I think because I've seen Shrek 2 so many times that I know the characters from that film and when they come in.
Yeah.
And
I am excited to watch Shrek 2.
I'm
Not
so
gonna lie.
excited. I'm
I
so
almost
ready.
watched it straight away after, and then I was like, no, because then all I would want to talk about is Shrek 2,
Shrek 2.
which is what we're doing anyway. But I got such vivid, like, warm, fuzzy nostalgia watching this film right at the start when
Yeah.
it's the DreamWorks introduction. You know,
Yeah.
with the little boy on the little boy on the moon fishing, and it goes down to DreamWorks, and then the S gets Shreked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
And I'm just like, oh yeah. Because that's
I
the
love-
first time I'd ever seen them do it for that. And I was like, oh, that's so cheeky.
I love it when films do that. I love it. I don't know why, but it doesn't happen on every film. I mean, it's when you know, like when the production company knows that it's going to be a big film, when they change like the intro animation. I love
Yeah,
it.
just-
And every time it happens.
Makes it special for the movie. It's great.
Yeah. and you can tell the film's gonna slap.
Yeah.
You just tell.
There was other bits that I noticed rewatching it this time though. The main bit there was like a subtle joke that I'd missed before, which is so when Farquaad is talking to the mirror, and he asks all of his henchmen to like, oh, what number do you think I should go for? The guy in the hood is yelling 3, but only holding up 2 fingers, and then he stops and looks at his fingers and works out 3.
Yeah.
And I'd never noticed that before. But it's like a great little subtle bit of animation that's just...
I love those little
What
jokes.
I noticed this time round, which I don't know if I'm just putting a perverted gaze on the film, but when Farquaad is in his bed and he's
he fully gets a boner.
Yeah, and but the mirror is like wincing and grimacing at it.
Yeah, because it's like you see it move, and then Farquaad is just like and moves like
that
covers.
That mirror has seen some terrible things.
Yeah,
and has had to do some awful, awful things. I have a question about this film. So we should go through it at least a little bit chronologically. Number one, Farquaad, fucking incredible villain, because there are reasons that you hate him as a kid. You're like, wow, he's a fuckhead, and the joke doesn't occur to you. And there are reasons you don't like him because like he's obviously a terrible person. He's like set up as the king, and the king is bad. Good thing to teach kids. Correct thing to teach kids. Royalty is bad. And he's like...
Well, he's actually not a king. He's Lord Farquaad. He's only
Lord.
marrying Fiona to become a king. That's like the whole point.
Exactly. Kings are bad. Kings are unearned. It's an unearned title.
Oh, for sure. You send an ogre to do the dirty work.
But like, you don't like him as good because he's unfair to Shrek. He's racist. He's awful. You don't like him.
Yeah, he hates magical creatures, so he's just racist, I guess.
Tortures the gingerbread man.
Yeah, the torture scene was
weird.
It was way. I forgot that he broke his legs off.
Yeah,
and he's just dancing them around.
It's really fucked up when you think about it.
It's fucked up. But like, as an adult, you don't like Lord Farquaad for like a whole different set of reasons.
Yeah, because he's a slime ball.
He's a slime ball. He's like intensely misogynistic.
Yeah.
He's awful and like real rapey.
Yeah.
Like real creepy. And I love that.
I don't know if he's rapey because I think he's just willfully misinterpreting Fiona's motives when she's like, I want to get married right now. And he's like, oh, okay. Before nighttime, oh, okay, you want to get, great. Thinking that.
He's
I think because he doesn't, for all his, massive castle and shortness, he still thinks he's hot shit.
Yeah.
He still sort of seems to think that Fiona will want to be with him. And to be fair, she does like, for her own reasons, is like, yes, I accept.
Yeah. But he's just like a raging narcissist.
Yeah.
And you don't like him. And I love that. I like how well that's done. That like there are aspects of his shittiness that you just don't notice as a kid. Because you've never you don't experience that.
Yeah, I guess hopefully the kids aren't too well versed on like misogyny.
Yeah.
And creepiness.
I like that. I love that about the way that he's done. And it makes sense why he isn't in the second one.
Yeah, because he gets eaten by a dragon.
He's eaten by the dragon. Dragon's cool.
Yeah, I forgot that he got actually eaten at the end.
Yeah.
Yes,
and the dragon just spits out the crown.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like Farquaad's great. Then Shrek goes on the adventure, and it is just like hard cut to the castle.
Yeah,
the dragon castle.
The bit I always used to find the absolute funniest as a kid was when they first get to Farquaad's castle though, and the little information thing does the song, and it says face instead of ass.
Everyone knew that song off by heart.
Yeah.
I found that so funny as a kid.
I also like that he just walked through all the barriers.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, well, the mascot's running in zigzags.
Yeah.
The Fight to Bad Reputation by Joan Jett as well.
I'd forgotten that it had bad reputation in it. I remembered
Yeah.
that this had a good soundtrack, but
Well, everyone only remembers the one song, so
Yeah, soundtrack.
instead of
this,
you know,
the Shrek franchise, and by that I mean 1 and 2, are not cowards because they're happy to set their fight scenes to pop music,
yeah.
and that is the instant sign that a director is not a coward.
yeah.
It's amazing, and it should be
The
done
fight
more.
scene is fun as well. Apart from,
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, so I always remembered this bit. Like, he has a drink first of like, there's a big barrel of ale behind him, and he's like, "Can't we settle this over a pint?" And then he like smashes it, and the worst animated, in inverted commas, beer
It
flows,
looks like
Yeah.
mud.
stutters out of this tankard, out of this
No.
barrel.
Water is. We've only just worked out how to animate water properly,
I know.
and it took an avatar to do it.
It's just it's one of those things where, like, as a kid didn't care.
No.
Yeah, no.
As an adult, I don't care, but I did notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't take away anything from the scene, but I was just like, good God, that does not look, that's not convincingly liquid.
Yeah, the main thing I was thinking for this as well is like the last guy that when Shrek throws him against the post and Donkey just fucking kicks him in the head and it makes the bell
He's
sound,
dead.
which is funny, but he's dead, right?
They're all dead.
He's dead as
Well,
hell.
yeah.
I love how in that fight sequence they get the wrestling references in.
Yes, I never got
Yeah.
that as a kid, and watching it this time around, having actually sat, not like watched a lot of WWE, but like paid a little bit more in interest in wrestling if we've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
Because it's
They
so
get the
silly, but
reference
yeah, I got the references this time.
It's good. It's great.
Do the chair.
Go in the chair. I love that. I love
the proper smackdowns.
how well this film and all of these films use references and like get the references in.
Yeah, because it's most of the time. Sometimes references feel really forced in, but like it's even in this a bit later on where you get the obligatory Matrix reference because this is from 2001.
Yeah.
It felt like it fit
It
into the scene it was in perfectly.
It doesn't age. Surprisingly, the references in this, they don't age the film.
Yeah, I feel like they
No.
picked them really well
Yeah.
because unlike the I remember like having to have my parents explain some of the references to the genie's character in Aladdin.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, and I obviously we've not done that on the pod yet, but if we ever did, like, I think some of those are not going to hold up because they were kind of obscure even when I was a kid, and like now these are going to be what 40-year-old references.
Yeah.
When did Aladdin come out?
It was like
95.
93?
93.
90,
Oh, okay.
sometime, yeah.
Okay, not quite that old then.
But-
30 it's a 30-year-old film, and like those references I don't think they've lasted as well.
But I feel
But like we still have WWE.
I feel like the references in Shrek, they aren't like, hey,
They're more of like a
this
homage.
thing. Yeah, they aren't like, hey, remember this thing. It's like they do the thing, and if you remember it, great. If you don't, you now
Still a cool
you
scene.
now have a reference.
Yeah.
You'll go, that's a reference to Shrek, and you go, no, that's a reference to like something way older.
Yeah.
You go, oh, they were
Watching
doing
the
a
Matrix,
thing.
like, it's like in Shrek.
Yeah, really, and like that's it. And it's great. So he goes off, saves Fiona. Fiona's like
Yeah.
has clearly thought about it.
I used to find the actual inside of the castle a little bit scary as a kid, where it's got all the
It
skeletons
is quite
and that all
spooky,
around.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
the dragon is quite
Yeah.
like scary at the start before she looks all smoochy.
Yeah, then she's hot.
But I do remember that like weird transformation, where it was like, oh, you're a girl dragon,
Yeah.
Girl
and it's like
drag.
you sort of look at her again, and then you're like, oh yeah, she's got eyelashes and lipstick.
So the
Yeah.
dragon falls in love with Donkey. One of the best choices they could have ever made.
Yeah, no, amazing.
Incredible.
Amazing and like so bizarre when you
Yeah.
think about it for more than like 2 seconds.
Well,
and I
I
remember
mean, it's a good job that the genders are that way round, really.
It's like the only way that they could have a dragon be the bad guy without the dragon being killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like the dragon being
Oh,
that
definitely not the only way, but
threatening.
a non-cliche way, I guess.
Well, without the dragon being like super threatening.
Well, it's like, no, just bargain for the freedom.
Yeah, but
We'll
then
get you
like,
out
do
of
you
here
have
as
the
well.
dragon
Oh, you're
talk?
trapped here. Oh, we'll get you out.
But do you have the dragon talk? Do you have like
Yeah.
weird sign language things? But the dragon still needs to be scary to chase them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, and then you get like later the dragon gets a little bit of a like loving redemption. They get to like each other, and it's sad because the dragon's in love.
The
It's-
dragon is also a little bit sexually aggressive.
Yes, they're a dragon.
So yeah.
They clearly they don't have. I don't know, but yeah, it was like the best way they could do
Absolutely.
to have
was-
the dragon in later.
It's
as an
so
ally.
fun as well. Even as a kid, a dragon falling in love with a donkey is funny.
Yeah, and the donkey also falling in love back is really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Being like, oh, all right then.
But yeah,
I love
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
dragon also has like a proper. I've totally forgotten the dragon does have has a proper little gold hoard as well.
yeah,
Yeah, loads of gold. Yeah, the other bit that I remember vividly finding really funny as a kid is when like Shrek is like holding Fiona and Donkey sliding down that pipe, and he hits the notch, and it hits him in the balls,
Mm.
and he's just like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I
Like-
swear that face is like a gif or a meme.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably,
Like I've seen that as a still or a very short sequence a lot.
yeah. When they escape the dragon though, and they're kind of like tying its collar or its chain all around so it can't actually get out. That was
A fun Scooby Doo
quite fun,
reference.
Mm.
yeah.
Where they're running down the different like parts of the castle and the chain's following him and
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was
like
great.
that it as well, where it does give you that second of, oh shit, like he grabs the sword and he's like, right, I'm going to take care of you run on ahead, I'm going to take care of the dragon. And you're like, oh shit, is he going to kill the dragon?
He's
Because
a-
the dragon's gone scary again at this point.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, he just like immediately puts the sword, like wedges it really hard into the ground with the chains around it so that the dragon can't
run
catch up with
further.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they
I
get a
remember
cool slow
that's-
motion run.
Yeah, is that the Matrix reference?
No, the
No?
Matrix bit's a bit further on where Fiona like does the
Oh,
jump
yeah,
kick
oh,
and the
yeah,
camera
that's what I
spin.
think. So is that a champions of what are they called? Chariots of Fire
maybe.
reference, or just slow motion running action film reference?
I think it's
Yeah,
Chariots of
probably.
Fire. I can't.
Chariots of Fire is the da 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 da.
Yeah.
da.
Maybe.
I've never seen the film, but you know.
I
No,
know
no.
they do a lot of like action stuff in like the camera movements and everything.
Yeah.
So maybe never seen it.
I remember just while we're still sort of roughly in the same zone as the castle, being really scared of the scene where they're going over the bridge.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful.
And like he's having to like talk Donkey into like getting over it, and like they're having
He
this sort of
just
fight
starts
because he wants to
swinging it,
escape.
yeah.
Oh
It's-
god. Ugh. I think
it's
because I was
awful.
also like around that age, we started to go on like Go Ape and Adventure Playgrounds and all that kind of shit where you had to go over rope bridges and
I guess, and there's lava at the bottom.
Yeah,
There's lava
it's
at the
very
bottom and-
dangerous. Like, yeah,
there's a scary ogre chasing you.
there's a
Yeah.
dragon.
These are
You gotta
really
rescue a
expensive
princess from the
trips.
top of the monkey bars.
These are really, really expensive trips he used to go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where did you go on holiday? Mordor.
also,
No dragons in Mordor. God.
not anymore. Fiona looks at Shrek and is like, this person is 9 foot tall and just fucking huge. And she's like, you must be a normal knight come to
Yeah,
save
and
me.
he's very obviously green as well.
Well, no, he's not. He's
So
really
green.
sooty.
Yeah, I guess he is. Yeah, I was thinking it's like
He's
that
sort of
scene
dark
in,
green.
It's like that scene in The Dark Knight where he doesn't realize it's the Joker because the Joker's wearing a fucking small mask.
But he's got
Like,
fucking huge hands.
Yeah.
He's huge. And she was like, you must be a knight, a normal guy here to save me. She wasn't like, holy shit.
I do like when she's like, oh, but what about all the other knights that came to rescue me? And he's like, well, they clearly died.
Yeah.
They're just all like charred corpses.
I like when she gave him his handkerchief. And
Yeah.
she's like, this is a favour for me. He just wipes himself
A
and
token
hands
of my
it back.
gratitude.
Like,
It's not so much that he wipes his face; it's that he then gives her it back.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, then she works out he's a ogre, and she's like, ugh.
Yeah, and like obviously we get more info about how she was raised and everything in film 2. So at the time, it's just like, oh well, she's a princess, so of course she's going to be disappointed that she's not got her Prince Charming.
It's an ogre. Turns out Prince Charming is a cunt. But we'll get to that. Yeah. So they travel back because she wants to marry Farquaad because he's the real hero.
Well, it's more that she doesn't have a choice. She's like, well, if he wants to marry me, he's got to come and fetch me. I'm going to stay here. And Shrek is like, nope, I want my swan back. And he just fireman lifts her.
Yeah, and it's like almost sundown, and she's like, oh shit, I need to go to sleep.
We need to sleep.
Scared of the dark.
Before that, though, they meet Robin Hood.
Isn't that the second day?
Oh yeah, that's the second day. Yeah, she falls asleep in the cave.
Oh yeah, and then we don't actually learn.
Oh, my favourite joke in that bit is when so she finds the cave, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't very good for a princess." But she's like, "No, it's fine because it's nearly sundown."
It just needs a door.
Just needs a door.
Yeah, she makes a door.
And then Shrek goes to roll a stone across it like she's like Jesus. And Donkey's like, oh, Shrek, and he's just like, I'm only joking. I don't know, like that joke felt really genuine.
Yeah, he was like, I was kidding.
Because it's like he's just fucking around with Donkey because they are kind of friends now that they've been through that together.
But Donkey's still not sure if that's a joke or not.
No. Yeah. Because then it's that night that they're talking, and Shrek's like, "Yeah, I just want to stay on my own because I'm an ogre and no one likes me."
And
Fiona's
they're like
spying,
talking about
I didn't realize how obvious it is that Fiona is,
a giant ogre hand.
Really big in that scene, yeah.
Yeah, but the next day they're walking through the forest, and
yeah, she makes eggs for breakfast by exploding a bird.
She does.
Oh yeah, I used to do. This must have annoyed the shit out of my neighbours, but I used to do that song in the garden all the time. Not to like explode birds, but just because I could.
Yeah. So she has magical singing powers.
Yeah.
Along with her, which again they explore more in the second one.
She knows martial arts.
Yeah. She knows martial. So she gets taken by. Well, she gets like. Robin Hood swings in and is like, I saved you.
Tries to kidnap her.
Fiona. Yeah. I saved you, princess, from this horrible ogre. And she's like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And then he does a whole musical number about being Robin Hood.
Yeah, which, by the way...
Steals from the poor and gives to the needy. He takes a little cut, but he isn't too greedy.
Big major question. Biggest question I've ever had watching any film. Which is saying a lot because we do this podcast. Why is Robin Hood French?
Why is Shrek Scottish?
No, why? No, I don't get. Shrek is not a known character from like fiction history that is very specifically from a very specific place.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
Why the fuck is Robin Hood French?
Maybe the accent doesn't sound as good doing the song.
Pick a different character. I'm sure there's French Robin Hood-esque types. Why is he French? He's very deliberately an English story.
Yeah,
from a particular part of famously from a particular part of England.
Do you want me to put my history specs on?
Is Robin Hood originally French?
No, God, no. But we were speaking a lot of French in the 12th century, which is the period that he's sort of originally from.
But he wouldn't speak like that, would he?
Well, probably not. No, and he probably also wouldn't, save a princess from an ogre and have a band of merry men singing his arrival. But maybe, and I think this is more likely, if someone was pissing around doing it in a French accent and they're like, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That's funny. Go for it.
I was really good because it was something that had never occurred to me before watching this film. And I've watched this film as an adult.
Yeah.
I've never been like, oh yeah, why is he French? I've just accepted that in this film Robin Hood is French. Anyway, that was just the one thing that I couldn't get out of my head.
Well, Fiona kicks the shit out of them.
Again, love that.
Yeah.
Love that she isn't like actually a damsel in distress.
No.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think that's also something that teachers and parents probably liked as well.
Yeah.
Which helped make this a hit, is that the girl is self-sufficient.
She's a girl boss, and she gatekeeps. And she gaslights. Because she definitely gaslights.
Maybe a little.
She's a girl boss who gatekeeps being an ogre and gaslights that she is in fact an ogre.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Shrek's been hit by an arrow.
And
And so Fiona sends Donkey to find a blue flower with red thorns. Another scene that I found hilarious as a kid. So much easier if I wasn't colourblind.
Yeah.
So
that line was quoted so much.
I need to tell you a thing about that joke. I only got the joke now. Because I didn't.
Did you not know? Are you colourblind, mate? Did he not know that he was surrounded by blue flowers and red thorns?
I didn't realise he was surrounded by blue flowers with red thorns because I'm colourblind. So I can't see the red thorns. The only reason I noticed this time is because I watched it on my screen, which I have like a colourblind adapter for.
Oh, okay.
I have like a filter. I've seen this film so many times, and that joke has just gone over my head every time.
To be fair, I missed it when I was. I remember like having that like realization on at least seen it a few times before then.
Yeah, never had that. I can't see the red thorns
because I just thought he like grabs some random flowers and like brings them back. But when I remember watching it and being like, "Oh shit, no, they're everywhere." Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I didn't work out I was colourblind until I was like 18, 19.
Did you not do the tests at school? In
No.
Science? In biology?
No.
A pretty brutal way to find out you're colourblind, though. Like, surrounded by your peers in a GCSE class.
Yeah, no, I realised mine because I had like a serious headache for a while. And I went to get my eyes tested and they were like, oh yeah, you need like new glasses and all this stuff. And they were like, they did like a bit of a colourblind test and they went, you should do another test. Then I did another test, and it turns out, no, I just didn't get the joke. I didn't realize it was a joke because I didn't know I was colorblind.
I think that's something that's fun about Shrek as well, and like as the markings of like a good comedy film is that it doesn't wait for the applause after every joke like some comedy films do, or like the quips that you get in a lot of action films these
Says
days.
It moves on.
Yeah, it's like if you find it funny, great, but it's still funny. But if you get the joke, it's even better.
It's funny that she asked him to go get a specific plant and he can't see the colours.
Yeah.
Like that is a funny joke, but the actual joke is he's surrounded by them.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't need it anyway because she sent Donkey away just so he'd go away.
They just get rid of him because he's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's like a little bonding moment for her in Shrek where he's like,
don't pull it out.
Well, it's like, oh, it's nice that she also finds Donkey annoying. We have bonded over this.
And
Fiona
to be fair
will
to him,
remember that.
when he's like, don't pull it out, it hurts. You're not meant to pull arrows back out.
No,
you're not, but he's also an ogre, so who knows what's going on under there.
I imagine a hell of a hog, but let's not talk about that. You're not meant to pull them out, you're meant to push them all the way through, or like cut them out. Because if you pull them out, it just does more damage, so it's not helpful.
Maybe this was just a... Well, did it have a cross? Did it actually have an arrowhead on it, or was it just a spiky stick?
I don't think it was that. So I don't think it was that specific, but also I can't imagine them making like a spiky stick arrow because a kid wouldn't go, that's an arrow.
Yeah, no, it does have the arrowhead on it.
The arrowhead.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, you definitely shouldn't pull that out because
it's like a stone arrowhead by the looks of things.
Oof. Oh, definitely don't pull that out. That's gonna rip
kids
everything.
don't get shot by an arrow.
I mean, to begin with, but if you get shot by an arrow, like push it all the way through. It's the safest way to...
go to hospital.
Yeah, and they will push
or call an ambulance.
Call an ambulance. Push it all the way. No, famously, if you get impaled with something, you're meant to immediately and aggressively remove it.
Yeah, and then it definitely doesn't cause more bleeding.
What you do is you pull it out with a twist. If you get impaled with something, you do the old twist and pull. It is the safest way to get something that's not meant to be in your body out of your body. The old twist and pull.
Yeah, and that's what Farquaad does to the pictures of Fiona as well.
Oh god. Yeah, traction burn doing that too quickly.
So anyway. Yeah, so they have to stay another night and they're in like an old mill. And Shrek's kind of trying to get the courage to tell Fiona he likes her, but Donkey's gone in and finds out that Fiona's actually an ogre.
She turns into an ogre at night.
And then you get the great misunderstanding of the movie.
Well, so Fiona's an ogre because she was cursed as a child to be an ogre,
Yeah.
Or was she born an ogre and the witch was like, I'll make you not an ogre during the day, but at
No,
night you
it's-
are an ogre again?
Um,
Because turning into an ogre at night isn't that big of a curse.
it's still a pretty big deal.
But you can sleep through it. Like, if
Yeah, but
someone
in
to me was
winter,
I'm an-
like that's pretty limiting.
but still, if someone was like, I'm an ogre at night, I'd be like, okay, so you can still live the rest of your life pretty unhindered?
Yeah, if you don't have, stuck-up parents that can't bear the shame, so lock you in a tower so no one will know
That's
your
true.
secret.
That is true. Though if you don't have the king and queen of far, far away.
Because they've not been invented yet.
Yeah.
Because that's in Shrek 2.
So was she? I think she was born an ogre in Shrek 2. I think
So
they say
we
she
get
was.
the book. There's the start of the book, right?
Yeah.
The film opens with a book that Shrek is reading.
Yeah, Shrek.
Yeah.
And that is a prince. She's a lovely princess. An enchantment put upon her that could only be broken by love's first kiss.
Yeah, but was the enchantment that she's a ogre at night and a woman during the day because she's naturally
Well, I guess it
an
would
ogre?
start that there was an ogre, and she had an enchantment put on her that turned her into a princess whenever it was light,
Not if no
which is a
one-
sort of different kind of story.
Not if no one knows that she was an ogre. Like, what if
What?
they only know that she was a princess, and because her parents gave her a witch curse that made her during the day a princess? It
True.
just doesn't make much sense to me that you'd be like, you're an ogre at night. Ha! No parties for you.
I guess we'll find out next week.
So maybe, and I don't think this ever is actually divulged how it happens, how she gets the curse. But maybe it's like with Sleeping Beauty,
Yeah.
where originally and I'm talking in the ballet, so I assume that's the original-ish story because it's worse than the Disney one.
And that's how
it's
you know
like-
it's the original story. 'Cause it's a
Yeah,
lot more
well, it's like
boring.
the Wicked Witch, the black, the evil fairy, the black fairy.
Yeah, the Wicked
remember
Witch of
which
the
one.
North.
She's like, I can't believe you bastards didn't invite me to her christening party or whatever it's called. She's gonna die. She's gonna prick her finger on her 16th birthday and die. And then the Lilac Fairy swoops in and is like, "Nuh-uh, bitch."
The Lilac Fairy. Are these
Yes,
the
the Lilac
fucking
Fairy. Oh, if we
gay
ever do
Power
Sleeping Beauty,
Rangers?
I have some criticisms
Are
about the
these-
lack of a Lilac Fairy in the Disney film.
Are these the
There's no Lilac
gayest
Fairy, and
Power Rangers ever?
she is critical to the plot, and she also has the best dance.
In Lilac Fairy.
So the Lilac Fairy is like, bitch, I haven't given her my gift yet, so my gift is going to be that actually she's not going to die, but she will fall asleep for 100 years because your magic's a bit stronger than mine, so that's kind of, I can like at least make it so she doesn't die, but I can make it...
I give her the gift of gardening gloves.
Yeah, I give her the gift of invincible fingertips.
Just stood there with had to run to the shop just before because they forgot that it was a bird. It was a christening, so they were like, shit.
Yeah.
And they just got some gardening gloves and someone was like, oh my god. It was like my moment.
Yeah, saved face. So I was thinking maybe they also pissed off an evil witch and she was gonna turn her into an ogre all the time, and then a nice fairy was like, well, actually, I can undo some of that magic, so she's only an ogre when it's dark.
True. I have a question. I don't know about the Sleeping Beauty. How many other coloured princesses are there?
I think there's a rainbow because it's a ballet.
Sick.
It's just lots of dancers.
Sick. By the way, also Lilac Fairy sounds like an old slur.
Well, I had this little lilac fairy.
It sounds like
I
you
had
were
this
lilac-
book about
bit
this
of a
girl that
lilac
really wanted to
fairy.
be the lilac fairy in
Yeah.
the ballet, and she gets to be it at the end, I think, and it's very cute and
Nice.
absolutely obsessed with it. I was obsessed with. Obviously, we've been through this. I was a ballet kid, unfortunately, minus the ability to do ballet. Yeah, the Lilac Fairy was my thing. Watched Sleepy Beauty, the Disney version, appalled, and they're not even ballerina fairies. They're like bumbling old women. Ugh, it's a travesty.
Yeah, but Lilac Fairy does sound like something someone would call me, like a 90-year-old would call me.
During this conversation about a lilac fairy, I remembered that in Shrek 4, Fiona is with a load of ogres, but I can't remember if that's because she was an ogre or not.
I've never seen Shrek 4.
We'll find out in 4 weeks' time.
God, we do as well, don't we? So they do all of that. Shrek, the misunderstanding happens. The great misunderstanding of Shrek 1.
Yeah, so she's all like, why the fuck would I want to... Why would anyone want to be with a gross, hideous ogre?
Hideous
and
is like ugly and princess don't go together, and Shrek's like, the fuck?
Because he's just plucked up the courage to go and see her and tell her how she feels.
Yeah.
Because there's this cute scene sort of beforehand where they're eating swamp rat together.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to muster up the courage, but then he just goes, are you gonna eat that? Instead.
I can't
Another
believe we almost got
well-quoted
through
bit.
the whole film, the whole podcast without someone doing the accent.
Helena's
I've
done
already
it
done
several
the several.
times.
Yeah, you're just blocking it out.
I just haven't noticed. Genuinely haven't noticed, which is either says something about me not listening, or that your accent just isn't that good. And I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah. I think, if anything, my accent was noticeably bad. So kind of more on you than me.
Sure, I'll take that hit. I'll cop that hit.
So that sort of misunderstanding. It's good because it's like well, of course he's her, and of course he doesn't know that she's an ogre. So what other ogre would she be talking about? Even if he thinks she has some sort of secret.
Ogre friend.
Yes, he thinks he's the only one.
Yeah.
And it's sort of you'd think he was talking about him. Like it's one of those ones where it's not like if he just sat and thought about it, because a lot of rom-coms it's like, no, just think for 20 seconds and you'll figure out that maybe you need to talk to this person. It's genuinely like he's not in the wrong really for thinking that she's talking about him.
No, and also like because then the misunderstanding happens because she's like, I need to tell you I'm an ogre, and he's like, I know what you said. You bitch. I know what you said. You said ugly and princess can't go together, and you're awful for that. I thought we had something. And she's like, how dare you?
Yeah, because she then thinks that he's rejecting her because
she's an ogre.
She's an ogre. Which
she's like, I thought you'd yeah, it's a really
you'd understand. And he's like, oh, I understand perfectly.
Yeah, it's a really like well done misunderstanding because they're both fucking idiots. Like,
Yeah.
they're both like jumping to the opposite conclusion.
Yeah,
that's really good.
I guess it's more on Fiona for not being like, I was talking about myself.
Yeah. Well, he says, I know what you mean. He's like, I know.
No, I heard you last night.
I heard you last night, and she's like, oh, so you know? He's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I thought you'd understand, but then he's like, yeah, of course I do. Go fuck yourself, and then storms off. Well, goes to get Lord Fuckwad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, Lord Fuckwad on his horse with his.
Because they kind of only the only reason they're really close, but they sort of playfully decide to spend an extra night.
Yeah.
Because it's nighttime, yeah.
Well, it's not even that dark, but it's like they could have made it on time. But
yeah, they wanted to.
She wanted to be there the next day, and so I think she also like you just get the vibe that they just wanted to spend a bit more time together.
Yeah, so they convinced Donkey that he was sick.
Yeah,
which is awful. By the way, gaslighting.
Yeah,
So far she has Kate kept Goldmoss, and finally she has gaslit. And by the way, gaslighting someone that they are ill is probably one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah.
I think Donkey enjoyed the attention.
Yeah, but he panicked. He's literally like, oh god, I need a hug. So Lord Fuckwad, and I love the detail of him on the horse with the big legs.
Yeah.
He's got big, like,
he gets picked up
legs.
to brought down. He's just like real short.
Which it shows that he is aware that he is short and is doing everything to... He's not like unaware of his own flaws.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you see that where they've got the adjustable torture table that has to be lowered when he gets there to torture the gingerbread cookie.
So yeah, he clearly isn't just like narcissist complete. He's got.
Oh, we haven't talked about I just remember the scene with Gingy, the gingerbread man, the whole Muffin Man sequence.
Yeah, you know the Muffin Man.
That was brilliant.
That's amazing. That is a spark of Shrek 2, because that's like all of the dialogue in Shrek 2 is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do reference it in Shrek 2, don't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, like they go to but they do a little. I'll remember it better in next week's episode.
I'm sure they go to the Muffin Man, don't they?
And he's like, "Well, do you know the Muffin Man?" The Muffin Man, and then he's like, "No."
No time. Yeah. You can see the sparks of Shrek 2 in Shrek. You can see where they went, this is actually really
This
funny.
is the bits that work
this.
in Shrek 1. They learn from and are like, we can do this but more.
Yeah. And like do the whole film like that.
And like, we don't have to have any serious characters. It's fine. Everyone can be absolutely 110%.
Yeah. And like, it doesn't have to have like a linear emotional story. It can be a bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lord Farquaad is like, I want to marry you tomorrow, and Fiona's like, fucking today.
Because she thinks if she has true love's first kiss with Farquaad,
fix her.
She won't turn into an ogre at night anymore. So obviously
Yeah.
that's why she has to do it before he sees her in the at night.
Yeah.
Or the evening, I guess.
Yeah.
It's sundown.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, I know it's sundown, but it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know what time of year it is. The sunflowers are out though, so I guess that's why it's like, it's probably like, July, August. I don't know what the Shrek calendar is like.
No.
It's Shrek-tember, Helena.
Oh shit, yeah, of course.
They're
To be
both-
fair, a lot of my sunflowers haven't flowered yet.
Because it's not been very sunny this summer.
It has been an incredibly shit summer. It's warmer now though, so one of them. So one of my sunflowers, just as an aside, because it's been kind of bothering me. One of my sunflowers has flowered, but it isn't doing that thing where it follows the sun. I think because we've got quite reflective glass on our balcony, so it's just staring into our living room, and like it's
waiting.
quite sinister because it's like it's a red sunflower as well, so it's
Oh,
like
God.
it's like this deep blood red color.
You've got a voyeur of sunflower.
Yeah, there is something quite like creepy about it.
Ew.
I mean, it's beautiful, and I'm very proud of it. And it's also the second one that flowered, and the first one, like, it flowered the tiniest little flower. It was just like, oh, you tried.
It's just weird that it's trying to stare you down every day.
Yeah, I'll try and take a snap of it and show
You
you
should
what
put
I
some
mean.
googly eyes on it. Make you feel a bit better.
I mean, it might just enforce some of my
That's
concerns.
true. Depends how
Just
the
a little
eyes
smile
fall.
face as well.
Depends how the eyes fall. Like, it's some angry eyebrows.
Yeah, I was gonna say angry eyebrows. It's more like Flowey from
Yeah.
what's it called? Undertale.
So Shrek and Fiona have a montage.
To Hallelujah.
It's a sad.
Oh, it's the
sad
second montage. We've missed the happy montage, which is My Beloved Monster, which is like, I sort of separately came across Eels later, and I was like, oh my god, I know this song. And then I was
Yeah.
like, this is the song from Shrek. But then like I liked lots of other Eels songs, but that one has like a real special place in my heart. I don't know, I really liked Eels from like quite a young age.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was one of those bands that I think I sort of decided I liked, rather than someone else saying, here,
This is a
listen to
good
this.
band. Yeah.
You might like this, or like this if you're cool, or my dad being like, yes, you can borrow my iPod.
Yeah.
We used to have, I don't know how many other households did this, but because when we grew up, we only had the one computer until
You
I
have a
was
family iTunes.
15. Yeah, we had a family iTunes account
Nice.
that everyone put their iPod on.
Nice. We had similar, but I was like the only person that knew how to download songs onto stuff. So I got to
My
control.
dad was quite good at, oh, I hope this isn't, I don't think anyone's going to care. Like, was it Napster? Not LimeWire, but one of the other ones.
Yeah.
Or a couple of the other ones that were like free music downloads.
Yeah.
Or like, but before Spotify, where it was like weird, we haven't quite worked out the copyright and everything, and it was
Yeah.
sort of more, the Wild West internet.
Yeah,
Stage.
the era of Napster.
Yeah.
When they hadn't,
So
like,
he
worked
had
all that shit
that,
out.
and we had quite a lot of music for a bit, and then that obviously all got shut down. Or it was
Yeah.
like, it still works, but unless you're very good at not getting your computer horrifically, like, infected, it's
Yeah.
not a good idea. And then it was down to, like, me and my brother buying CDs and putting them on the iTunes.
Yeah.
Putting them on the iTunes, oh god.
No, that's what you did.
So old.
What you did. So Fred, so there's, in the montage, I think they missed one good joke, and it's definitely a Shrek style joke, and I'm really disappointed that they missed it. You know when Fiona is sat at the table by herself,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
really
then it sort of half shows Shrek the other side.
I'm really disappointed that the other seat that she sat across from doesn't have a booster seat on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
Like,
a high chair.
I was really disappointed that it wasn't like I didn't have a booster seat, or like a high chair or something, or like a load of pillows.
Yeah,
stacked on top
mound
each
of
other.
cushions.
Yeah, I was like, that feels like such a Shrek
Or just the
joke.
table was like ridiculously low, and like
Yeah.
Fiona
Yeah.
was there like with her knees banging against it.
Or it was at
Like
an angle.
slanted. Yeah.
Past the salt. Shwoof.
Like I was really because that is definitely a Shrek joke.
Yeah.
Or it just had like taller legs, like thin, or had like a stack of books under the legs. Would have been really funny.
Little steps going up to it.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that would have been great. And it felt like I was like, oh, that's the one joke it felt like they missed in the entire film, which is amazing. But yeah, I wish they would have made that. Because every other
Yeah,
film...
I mean, yeah, it would have been good. It is trying to be like a sort of heart moment of the film, though, I guess. So maybe that's why they toned down the jokes.
But you can still have like a subtle
Oh,
background. joke.
definitely, yeah. Like, there's no excuse, Shrek team.
Shrek team from 2000.
Do better, and then they were like, okay, we can do better.
Yeah, they went, okay, we'll do 100% better.
Sorry.
And they made
This-
one of the best films ever made.
Part of me though is like now worried. Like, have we talked it up too much? Am I going to be
No.
disappointed by Shrek
No,
2? But I
Shrek-
don't
I've
think I
seen
am.
Shrek
Like, I'm fairly
recently.
confident in Shrek 2. It's not been that long since I last saw it.
I've seen Shrek within the last like 2 years.
Shrek 2.
Yeah,
it's been a
sorry,
little bit since
I
I've
just
seen
called
it, but
Shrek.
I've seen bits of it. Like, it's been on.
Yeah,
Yeah. But until then.
yeah. The end of you have the end montage, and Shrek's like, Donkey finally fucking explains what happened,
Yeah.
and Shrek's like,
Yeah, well,
shit.
the thing is that Fiona made Donkey absolutely promise not to tell anyone, obviously
Yeah.
including Shrek. So even though it's really obvious,
Important.
well, like Donkey should have, yeah, he takes him a little while to crumble.
And then he explains it, and Shrek's like, the fuck? We need to go stop her from getting married. And they
The
do.
dragon is there and gives them a lift.
Yeah, because in the montage, Donkey meets back up with the dragon.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fly off to the ceremony, to the wedding, and incredible sequence. The donkey's like the dragon's like clearly wants to eat everyone, and Shrek's like, "Go ahead, we'll whistle when we need you."
Yeah.
Loved that. That was amazing. That dragon killed so many guards that day. And then Donkey's like, wait, you have to wait for the right part.
Yeah.
And honestly, that joke is Shrek 2 level joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's the joke. That's it. Where he's like, we need to wait, because you need to wait for the priest to say, does anyone object? And then you run in and be all dramatic.
and to spy on it, they're like sort of jumping
Throwing
up
him
to...
through the
Oh
big,
yeah, aren't they just yeeting Donkey up into the window?
Yeah.
big stained glass window? And he's like, not yet. I think he said it. And
I
fucking
object.
And you're like, I object. And it's really cool. The rest of, like, the ceremony sequence actually really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, that's the heart of the film right there.
It is really cute. And then obviously they have True Love's first kiss.
Yeah. They fight off all the guards, both as ogres. The dragon eats Farquaad, they kiss, and then she's
Oh yeah, because
permanently
it turns to night, so she turns into an ogre.
Yeah. And then Farquaad's immediately like, fuck, you're
Kill
disgusting.
them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he whistles, dragon gets Farquaad gets fucking 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dragon ate and left no crumbs.
Just the crown, which
Just
makes
the
sense.
crown.
He is only
And-
snack size, so...
Yeah, and yeah, they kiss. Fiona magically goes into like magic mode, and remains an ogre.
Yeah.
And all of the windows crack because of the magic.
Yeah.
And the dragon breaks the one that doesn't. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
that
it's
bit
got
was
Farquaad
cute.
on it.
Great, loved it. And yeah, it's happy ending.
Yeah, and then I'm a Believer, covered by Smash Mouth, starts
This
playing,
film
with
made
Donkey
Smash
also
Mouth's-
singing.
This film made Smash Mouth's career.
Yeah. Sadly
Yeah.
not Rat Race, the other movie with All-Star in it.
No, it was definitely Shrek.
Because as we
It was
previously discussed,
absolutely
Rat Race
Shrek.
was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was absolutely Shrek. But also, like, so this film has I'm a Believer is the iconic film. Everyone knows the Shrek 2 iconic film song. What What is the Shrek 3 and 4 iconic songs? Did they just
No
not
idea.
get one?
Yeah, a third one's got Justin Timberlake in it. It's probably that bit from Southland Tales.
Oh god.
Oh, it would be. I can't wait to see if Shrek 3 has a Southland Tale pop culture reference in it. That'd be great.
Nothing has a reference to that.
Not even the
Did we
actor.
tell you that when me and Helen met up a couple of weeks ago, we were trying to find a DVD copy of Southland Tales in CEX? We couldn't,
Good.
but we thought
Good.
it would have been funny.
Yeah,
It's
we
alright. I
did.
did manage to find season 4 of Footballers' Wives.
Cool. Meeting up without me again.
Well,
I mean,
where
we
were
in
you?
Coventry,
You were
so-
invited.
No, I wasn't.
It's only
I
like 4 and a bit hours away.
explicitly wasn't.
Dan made the
invited.
trip.
Dan had to.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't care. Why would I care?
It sounds like you care.
No, it's fine. I
When am
don't
I getting that
care.
heat lamp, by the way?
When you can come and fucking pick it up.
So,
We still got it.
so Shrek. We're at the end now of a great musical number.
Great.
I did sit through the credits because I wasn't sure if there was a bit after, but there isn't.
No,
Because
this wasn't the time of the MCU.
No.
This wasn't the time of like.
No, but
I think we need
I
to set
thought
this
that
again.
I'm pretty sure Shrek 2 has at least a mid-credit sequence. Of,
I think so.
Yeah, of like the musical number.
But I think it's more of a dumb joke.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I remember is, and I will make sure you guys watch these bits too if you haven't seen them before next week. This film doesn't have anything in it, but the second one, when it came out on DVD, had so much bonus content.
Cool. We'll have to find the bonus content.
Far, Far Away Idol.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I remember
So
all that.
yeah, gotta watch that. So out of 10, like this held up for me. Like the animation doesn't look good, and I'm sure I was probably doing it a favor watching it in 720 on my like repeatedly shit, technically not full HD TV.
Yeah,
It looked pretty good, probably just upscaled into 4K.
yeah, the animation doesn't look that bad, other than the water. But again, they only just got water right. Animation
Yeah,
isn't
like
that
it's
bad.
not bad. It's just of its time. Like
Yeah.
it's just a bit clunky in places, and it's not as smooth, and sometimes the textures are a little bit fucky. But it's not bad animation. Like it's pretty well polished.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a joy to watch, and I like I was pleased. Like I had a good time watching it, and it absolutely flew by.
Yeah,
this film is so
movie
quick
goes
to
so
watch.
quick, yeah.
So for me, we're starting high. I think it's a 9 gingerbread legs snapped off out of 10 and dipped in milk.
yeah.
It's not perfect, but it is up there. Like it gave me. I don't know how much of it is nostalgia. I don't know what kids of it would think of it today, and I don't know how much of it is improved by Shrek 2 being so good.
Is it nostalgia or is it just references we get? Because I think those are two different things.
Well, I think it's a bit of both.
They become the same thing.
Because there's references I get as an adult, like the WWE stuff we talked about,
Yeah,
which I didn't get as a kid because, shockingly, I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers. I definitely wasn't allowed to watch WWE. I appreciate that. I think it's, yeah, like, obviously getting some of the reference, getting a bit more out of the film this time I watched it, but also having had so much enjoyment watching it throughout the years as well, and kind of associating it with that sort of end of term chill vibes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good combination of like suitable for adult, like good film for an adult to watch, but still very much cherished as a child.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think, it's like a strong 8.5, nearly 9. And I think that's only because I know Shrek 2 is better, and I'm really excited for Shrek 2. And I don't want to give this a 9 and Shrek 2 also be a 9. If Shrek 2
I mean,
isn't
you could
a
go
10.
for it. Sounds like you want an 8.75 then.
Yeah, I think it's an 8.75. Oh no, Dan, you're doing like the scoring thing, aren't you? Like you're going to sort out the average scores of all this.
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were
8.
doing whole numbers, but
Nah,
whatever.
8.751. This has given us too much power, Dan. Yeah, 8.751, I think. Because, yeah, I know Shrek 2 is going to be good, but I don't know if it's going to be a 10. But I know Shrek 2 is better than Shrek 1, so I have to prepare
So you've got
for Shrek 2.
See, I am prepared for Shrek 2 to be a 10 out of 10 movie, so I'm going for 9 animators from Prince of Egypt who got Shrek'd as my score.
I'm prepared for it to be a 10. However,
if it's not,
we have been doing this podcast for a very long time.
Yeah.
The seeds of doubt are there.
Look, the surprise will be when Shrek 3 is pretty alright.
I don't
honestly,
think it is.
I think Shrek 3 is going to be.
I think it's worse. It's the worst Shrek. It's the worst Shrek yet. But it's definitely the start of like the downward spiral of Shrek.
I think Shrek 4 is worse. I think Shrek 3 is going to be okay. I think Shrek 3 is going to be generally okay with a few good bits.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be awful.
The only thing I remember from that is the kid going, "Do the raw."
Me too.
Because
it was a Skyrim meme, and it was like the greybeards just like, do the raw.
But I think it's going to be okay with a few bad bits and a few really good bits.
You guys really need to watch the new Puss in Boots movie as well. It's so good.
I want to watch it.
I do want to watch that.
Good. Yeah, it's very good.
Is it on Disney Plus yet?
No, it's DreamWorks. So no.
Good point.
It's I think the first Puss in Boots movie is on Netflix, but no, the second one you'll have to find elsewhere.
Yeah, what the fuck, Netflix? Like they can tell when we're about to do a film, and they deliberately take it off.
Netflix had all the Shrek movies.
Yeah, all of them except Shrek. Until what 2 weeks ago?
Until as soon as we try and watch Shrek, and then Netflix is like, "Hey, no."
We got Shrek'd, guys.
We did.
And we're going to continue getting Shrek'd for the rest of the month.
Yeah, we are.
Along with you, our audience. Let's all get Shrek'd together.
To prepare for continuing to get Shreks. I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find this podcast on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. If you want to come and just send us Shrek quotes, just do it. It's fine.
Yeah, what's your favourite Shrek?
Also, what films were you forced to watch? What were your
what were your school
films that you've watched half of?
Yeah.
I know we've asked that before, but I want to know.
Come let us know. Yeah. We also have a Patreon where you can support the show and help us watch all the Shrek movies in one month.
And do other stuff.
And do other stuff, yeah. What are we doing for the start of Shrektember? This
is going to be real expensive. Again, not the most expensive thing we've ever done. But we're going to get a team of animators together. And we're going to remake Shrek in its entirety, but with Nick Cage.
Nick Cage is every character, or just Nick Cage is Shrek?
Nick Cage is Shrek. We're going to get every other cast member back, but Nick Cage is going to be Shrek.
But he's just got to do full-on Nick Cage voice,
just has to.
Just Shrek. Lithgow is still alive.
Yeah. Cool. Lithgow's doing well. Yeah.
If not, any actor that's sadly passed, Nick Cage can also do that. Not saying that Mike Myers is dead, but any other character. But I just want to hear Nick Cage do Shrek. That's all I want to see. I want to see him do all of them as well. Because I want
Nick Cage is in his somehow weirder era, so I reckon we could get him on board.
Oh, we could absolutely get him on board. We're gonna remake Shrek. Do you want to be in it? Fuck yeah.
Shrek.
Why are you remaking Shrek? Also live action.
The old lady that's trying to sell Donkey at the start.
Yeah.
She died, unfortunately.
Oh, fucking Nick Cage.
So yeah, Nick Cage.
Nick Cage also just doing his own voice. I don't want him to do any accents.
No, I want him to.
No accents.
Do we go
just
Big Daddy in Kick-Ass or
no? Just Nick Cage. I want to give him the script day of.
Here you go. Go for it.
Just first take, first read.
Oh yeah, he only gets. We're just gonna leave the recording on, and he just had to do all of the lines in chronological order.
We can do this cheaper. We won't reanimate it. We'll just edit out all.
It's just the Nick Cage dub
to do it.
Yeah, the Nick Cage dub. But again,
that's more cost
efficient. Single take, and not a single take and we'll cut it up.
But we have to make Shrek handsome, otherwise Nick Cage won't do it.
Obviously. But when I say one take, I don't mean we record it in one take and then cut it up and make it fit. He's gonna watch Shrek.
Yeah.
And
do it in time.
So if he makes any comments when his character isn't talking, his characters aren't talking, that's staying in. If he coughs,
Hopefully, he
staying
just
in.
does it off screen.
If he coughs, staying in. Sneeze, staying in. If he drinks water, staying in. That is the remake of Shrek I want to see.
I object.
Donkey!